I welcome all the student and faculty participants for this online series of guest lectures on maximizing your outcome through soft skill training. And this is a program funded by the IDP of TANUVAS. And again, we have Dr. Vidyaa here to talk today on the topic lateral thinking. So may I now invite Dr. Vidyaa to speak on the topic for today's presentation on lateral thinking.
Welcome to another amazing Thursday. I think now we are all meeting each other at least twice a week, right? And there are a lot of topics which we have been discussing on. And today's topic, usually we say, right, today's topic is very important, but today's topic is really very important, okay? And I'm going to tell you what life-changing experience I have had because of this topic. And I'm also going to tell you how you can make your life a game changer, right? I'm sure all of you are ready, waiting to listen to this topic because it's going to be truly a game changer. And I would encourage all of you to switch on your videos if you want, because you're going to see some things amazing today. And I hope all of you are there on the other side of this presentation to get the best out of today's presentation. Okay, so with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead with the screen sharing of today's presentation. I hope you all can see my screen right now. And I would also like to thank Dr. Shankaran for giving me this opportunity, and Dr. John, Dr. Selvaraj for joining us, and all those faculty and students for being a part of today's presentation. I would also like to thank IDP of TANUVAS for this amazing opportunity where I'm able to, try to interact with all of you, and you're going to get some amazing things. I really sometimes I wish when I make my presentations, I always think, I wish I had this taught to me when I was a college-going student, right? I learned it the hard way, and I'm going to share all those experience with you today, okay? And look at this amazing the video part. So is our brain really exercising well? We are going to find out. So let's get started. Are you a lateral thinker? This is what each of us need to ask ourselves. Do we really think laterally, and are we really getting the best out of our life? So can anybody answer in the chat box? What's the number of this parking space? Anybody wants to unmute and answer? What's the number of the parking space?
Ma'am, it's 87.
78.
So it is 87 is the right answer. Because if you look at it from the other side, it looks 86, 88, 89, 90, and 91. But if you look from here in the front, it look like 16, 06, 68, 88, dash, and 98. So you are supposed to look at a lateral side to what you're seeing actually. Now tell me which glass will fill up first. Let me have the answers rolling.
Six.
No.
7.
No. Okay. No. Then I will give you the answer here. Can you see here?
5.
Next to, yeah, 5 is the answer. You're right. Whoever said that, good. So here you can see 1. This area is blocked, so it cannot be 2, 4, and 6. If you look at this side, from 3 to 7, it's blocked. So the only thing which will fill first would be 5, right? So let's get going. Some more questions coming your way. Let's see how many of you answer. So how much is this food snack now?
Seven.
Excellent.
Seven.
Awesome. 7, 7. Very good. Very good. So this is called the analytical thinking, or, lateral thinking. Let's go ahead. I'm still going to have you some more questions coming up. Remove 6 sticks to make it 10.
So, ma'am, we have to, I can see the alphabets T, N there. So I think we
Yeah.
have to remove all the sticks on the sides, ups and bottoms.
Correct. You're right. Very good. Last question. Solve this puzzle. Only 5% of people can solve this. 7 minus 9 plus 2 is equal to 1. You can only move 1 stick to get the answer or the equation right. Only 1 matchstick to get your equation right. Tell me what the equation is. Anybody there?
Processing.
Processing. Okay, I'll give you time to process, but I can only give you 1 more minute. Anybody? Okay, let me do the
7
countdown.
minus 9 plus 8.
From
You
2.
can make it as 3.
Perfect, perfect. Remove that matchstick from the front and keep it at the back. So it will become 7 minus 9 plus 3. So 7 minus 9 will make it minus 2. Minus 2 plus 3 is equal to 1. Awesome. Very good. So this is what is lateral thinking. So let's get to the topic for the day. Are you a linear or a lateral thinker? So let's understand that what you need to become a lateral thinker. Lateral thinker is a person who thinks out of the box to solve problems, who doesn't look at the question as a question, but is looking out for the catchwords or the keywords to help us understand and move forward. He or she uses reasoning that cannot be explained in a step-by-step analysis. So if you look at it very critically, you might not be able to understand. You have to be more creative. So it's not critical thinking, it is creative thinking, right? And is willing to jump from an idea to an idea with a leap of faith that ideas will find its way of connect. They say connecting the dots, and that connecting the dots will give you the solution. So it is not that you know the answers. You try to leap faith and then you get the answers right. So that's what a lateral thinker is. For example, if I tell you, if there is a pathway and you see a problem or you see a kind of a challenge or a roadblock, if your thirst is so high, you would not say the road is blocked and then go back, because your solution is always beyond that roadblock. If you're a lateral thinker, what you would do is you would go, you are seeing the challenge. Now the thirst in you is so high, you will figure out a way and try to move right, left, or whatever to go and get the solution. Just imagine each one of us, you, me, every one of us, when we were about, say, 1 to 2 years of age. You ask your parents what you used to do. So imagine you were there and you wanted to go across to the other side. The elders in the house would, stop you. And then you would go to the right. They would stop you there. Then you would move to the left. So they would stop you at the left. And then you will stand in the center when they want to move in the center. And then what happens? You will still figure out a way, go between the legs and move to the other side. So lateral thinking was a part of our DNA when we were born. However, with so much of inputs coming, we have lost that creative aspect of ourselves. And that is why we are just wanting to follow the herd. We don't want to think differently. We don't want to do anything differently. So today I urge you, my dear students, to think out of the box, because today we're going to have a lot of brainstorming happening in our minds. I know it is going to be a little unconventional. It's going to be very creative. It's going to be different. It's going to be inspirational. it will have a different perspective, because if I am saying the word is 6 and when you look at it, it is 9, both of us are right at our own way. But nevertheless, we need to have that kind of a smart problem solving kind of a mindset, which is not very usually seen in people. And we need to start thinking out of the box. So that is how our topic of the day unfurls. This is a famous quote by Robert Frost, which says, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I can say this because many a times when I choose a topic to present, I will always look at it, what have I done and how authoritative am I to present that topic in front of all of you. And each time I take a topic, I think what has been my learning curve in that particular topic. So today I'm going to share a part of myself. Many a times, whenever Dr. Shankaran has introduced me, I'm sure he has told you that I'm a dentist, right? So I finished my 12th standard, got into the Bachelor's of Dental Surgery, and I completed dental surgery. Now that is long time back, right? Now, after that, what happened? So a little bit of my life here. So I tried to appear for the exams, and those days we didn't have so many, private colleges and things like that. So we learned very hard, but we couldn't get through, and I could not do my post-graduation. But this thirst of knowledge was within me, and I said, if money is the thing which is going to, decide my future, whether I do a post-graduation or not, then let me put the other side of the coin and say, let knowledge be that criteria for me to decide whether I deserve post-graduation or not. So I threw myself into the world of knowledge, and I did my best so that I could gain the best out of what life has. So here is sharing you my journey. Watch this video. and I was recently awarded the Melanie Klein Excellence Award for my services in psychology. And so what have I actually tried to share with you all in the last 4 to 5 minutes is that nothing stops if you're really thinking laterally. So whatever you could see it as a challenge, look at all possible ways to move ahead in life. And this, I would like to dedicate this lecture to all those students who are not willing to give up in their lives. So whatever you do, you see that you're going to bring out the best in yourself out. And maybe 10 years, 20 years later, you might be those scientists, those inventors, those people who are going to be the torch bearers of your own professions. Because I personally believe each of you have that in you. It is only whether you want to make use of the opportunity given. And that opportunity, who is going to give it to you? It's yourself. Every single day, you have to take up that opportunity. Work yourself, work really hard, and see that your hard work is seen in your fraternity, right? So what is lateral thinking? Lateral thinking is a way of thinking which seeks the solution to intraceable problems through unorthodox methods or elements which would normally be ignored by logical thinking. So if you're going to think very logically, maybe you might miss out on this lateral thinking. But it is very important for all of us to open our minds, open it really wide, so that you can see those nuances which you're missing out just because of your orthodox ways of thinking. So an idea generation and problem solving technique in which new concepts are created is the lateral thinking. That is when you invent, you bring out a lot of formulas and ideas out, and that is how your lateral thinking works. Lateral thinking is a very important phenomena put forward by Edward de Bono, and he said, it is better to have enough ideas for some of them to be wrong than to always be right by having no ideas at all. So he always speaks about, think about n number of ideas. Like you all know the story of Thomas Alva Edison. He had 10,000 ways of not getting his job right. But then it also taught him many other discoveries on his way to the main discovery of his life. So lateral thinking is a term coined by Edward de Bono in 1967, and it refers to a person's capacity to address problems by imagining solutions that cannot be arrived at via deductive or logical means, or the ability to develop original answers to difficult questions. So it is not like you're copying somebody. It is your original creativity to a difficult question which has been posted in front of you. And this really creates a very big impact, because you will have a kind of a framework in your mind, and then you will try to look out or reason out the processes, and then you will put down the procedures, and that is how your vision in life will come true. What is vision? Is seeing the unseen right now. That is what you're seeing. What is the leap of faith? Imagine a father who throwing the child up, and the child is so, just not as bothered. Why? Because he or she knows that his father or her father is going to be there to hold. Now, that is the same kind of a leap of faith we need to put on ourselves and on God, so that we would have that kind of a lateral thinking or a non-linear or a decision-making model, so that we are able to create something new by ourselves. He also said there are different synonyms to this lateral thinking. It could be sideways thinking, non-judgmental thinking, non-linear thinking, out-of-the-box thinking, unorthodox or illogical thinking. But it basically means getting new ideas and escape from the old ones. So if you want to really start working on your lateral thinking, my tip right now would be have a small notebook, a real small pocket notebook, And whenever some idea comes into your mind, make a note of it. That is how people discover new things. Don't think, has anybody done it before you? You might be that person who's going to create something phenomenally well. So it is that rewiring of your brain. Lateral thinking is a problem-solving technique, and lateral thinking looks out for what is different and makes deliberate jumps, welcomes the chance for intrusions, and explores the best, likely, least possibilities, because not everybody would think that way. If everybody is going one way, when you go the other way, that is when you're going to get the essence of it. So think laterally and turn problems into opportunities. Why this topic right now? Because we have a huge challenge in front of us, the pandemic. People are talking about loss of work. People are talking about economic meltdown. Now you think laterally, how is it that you are going to be a positive contributor? People who are interested to know more, you can always get in touch with me. We are going to really create that kind of opportunity where people can really make the best out of this challenge in front. So Edward de Bono's lateral thinking is think more, think differently, and think radically. Break all the existing patterns and change paradigms, generate more ideas and develop fresh thinking, solve challenging problems in a new and different way. Lateral thinking will help you think differently. Okay. So as I told you in the beginning, linear thinking is just going straight, and if you find any challenge, you don't know what to do. Lateral thinking is figuring out different ways so that you can get on to the solution. So let's see what are the don'ts and the do's. So the don'ts are don't choose. That is very important. And do's are you change. First, you need to change internally for you to change externally. And don't look for what is right. Look for what is different. Don't follow a kind of a set pattern or a sequence. Make deliberate jumps so that you can really have a leap difference. Don't concentrate on relevance. Welcome chance intrusions, and don't accept the obvious. Explore less likely directions. So those are your do's so that you can literally think differently. What are the uses of lateral thinking? It stimulates new ideas. You're able to have a brainstorming happening. It reshapes, it helps you solve problems, and makes you a kind of a problem solver in many crisis management situations. It could be crisis management at home. It could be a crisis management when you are organizing something, even in the college level. Maybe, you would have some kind of culturals going on, and some critical problem has started, and now you'll be able to think differently, think laterally, and solve the solution. But if you have a lateral, if you don't have a lateral thinking, then you'll be stuck. You will feel that, you have no other space to grow. You will also be able to improve and develop. You are not stuck with where you are. You are waiting to reinvent yourself every single day. And your brain actually opens up. Now, what do we say about the brain opening up? Now, imagine an umbrella. An umbrella, only when it's open, it is going to either protect you or shield you from the sun, and then going to give you some kind of a protection during rain. Imagine a parachute, and then you don't have a parachute which is opening. Is there any use of that parachute? So your mind is same. Your mind should be open, and only then you will be able to see these kind of things. Now, let us understand a very important concept today. It is called neuroplasticity. The brain continuously reorganizes itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. That is why when you look at people who are getting Alzheimer's and Parkinsonism, they tell you, you keep reading, keep learning, keep doing things. In fact, now what they say, if you are a right-handed person, start using your left hand for something. In my clinic, what I do is I use my left hand for my mouse in the sense, your laptop mouse. So you can use it for your laptop. You see that you put your left hand to good use. I am a right-handed person. I am putting my left hand to use. If you are an opposite, you are a left-handed person, put your right hand to use. Do both, be dexterous, so that it will help you. Yeah, so you have to get that going very clearly. Now when you do this, what happens? Just like your body is exercising, your brain also exercises. I actually wanted to add some brain exercising techniques. We will do it in a later date. Now you can think about your before experience and after experience after you enjoy this neuroplasticity. Now, one big tip for anybody in this auditorium or in this seminar who are about 30 years of age, especially for the staff, I would encourage you all to kindly mute so that, we go uninterrupted. So all those people who are above 30, I would encourage you all to take up a course every single year. Because when you learn, when you are in a student mode, the student mode is the best mode which you can be throughout your life, because that will keep you always in a creative mode. You will always be learning something. That is why if you see in the foreign world, they learn different languages, they learn dance, they do all kinds of things which they were not able to do it in their 30s and 40s, especially in their 60s, because they want to keep this neuroplasticity of their brain going on and on. Now, what happens in the chemical differences? You will see a lot of neurotransmitters getting transmitted in the nerve synapse. You see a structural change. I'm sure you must have learned about the brain, where more amount of convulsions would be there, more amount of curves would be there, and that would give you a better way of looking. And functional change, your areas on your brain, those areas which are going to be creative, they will start getting popping out and they will start being more functional. There are two types of brain plasticity, which is called structural plasticity and functional plasticity. Structural plasticity means it helps you work through your experiences or memories, which change your brain's physical structure. And that is why you see for a small child, you give a lot of toys to play. You try to ask them to, create something. You put one over the other. You do a lot of chemistry experiments in your lab. You read a lot. This is going to cause you structural plasticity. Now, what is functional plasticity? Those brain functions move from the damaged area to the undamaged area. Now, that is going to be your brain plasticity. Now, let us see how neuroplasticity works. Okay. So, when you have a very synaptic activation, imagine if it's a weak activation, you will have no change in the synapse. I'm going to close right now. There is somebody's audio which is on.
No problem, madam. You can proceed. I am muted.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I am muted, madam. You can proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Please go ahead, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry for the disturbance. Yeah.
No issues. Can you all see my presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the synaptic activation, when there is a weak activation, there is no much change. Whereas if there is a strong activation, it's a frequent activation too, just not strong once, but then it is a slow dose of positivity going inside your brain. It causes the synaptic structure to change, your connection strengthens, and then it has its positive implications. And now you will have a kind of a reinforcement happening in your brain, and that will keep getting into a better version of yourself. Now, that is why when we all went online, many people were finding it difficult with technology, but those fast learners were able to pick up the technology and go ahead in life. Now, this is what is very important. Change is the only constant thing in this entire universe, my dear friends. So this change is going to bring out the best in yourself. Keep changing yourself. Keep reinventing yourself. I, in fact, don't like that word. People used to say, by 2024, finish your course, get married and get settled down. What does settled down mean? I really did not understand. Why would anybody want to settle down? Why not settle up? And most of our nursery rhymes, I'm not sure if you all remember them, but then it is Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Why should Humpty Dumpty fall? This was a question which used to come into my mind. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down. Why are everybody falling down? Next, London Bridge is falling down. Again, another thing which I never used to understand. And, a lot of nursery rhymes in this way. Nothing was so positive about the nursery rhymes. Everything said fall down. And we started saying settle down. So we are now looking to get into a higher version of ourselves, where if we give, or when we give the strong frequent activation, our brain cells would actually work towards a better version of ourselves. So what is neuroplasticity? As I told you, Laura Hill says, rewire your brain using neuroplasticity to stop procrastination. You should not say tomorrow. Please stop saying that. If any task is given, say today I will do it. Say I will do it now. That is how you change habits. And that is how you create a new mind. Where the moment you say tomorrow, tomorrow never comes, my dear friends. Tomorrow is today, because that is how it is felt. The moment you start pushing things for tomorrow, that means you have again stopped your brain from getting into this beautiful change called neuroplasticity. What are your ways of thinking? You have divergent thinking, where you have a question, you're thinking on different aspects to get the answer. That is the creative or horizontal thinking or brainstorming. Or you have a convergent thinking, you're using logic. You're putting in facts and trying to get into the answer. Those are called the vertical, analytical, linear kind of a thinking. And lateral thinking is using both, thinking out of the box. You can use both creative and you can use a lot more of critical thinking. So let's look into both of them. Vertical thinking is used to identify the most possible common or normal solution, which is logical and obvious. And lateral thinking ignores the vertical approach and rather approaches the situation or question from a more indirect creative angle. So what is vertical thinking? It is a type of approach to problems that usually involves one being selective, analytical, and sequential. So it is actually the opposite of lateral thinking. Now let us look at the chart which tells us the difference between vertical and lateral. Vertical thinking is looking for the right approach. Lateral thinking is looking for approaches as much as possible. Vertical thinking is being analytical. Lateral thinking is in richness. Vertical thinking is sequential. You proceed if there is a direction, otherwise you stop. One must correct at each step. Use negative to block off certain pathways and exclude what is irrelevant. And fixed categories or labels explore most likely paths, and you definitely have a kind of a finite process. Whereas lateral thinking, it proceeds in to generate direction. It does not stop with if they say no direction. It's more provocative. It helps you make leaps and jumps. Does not have to always be correct. And there is nothing like right or wrong here. Labels may change. You can explore least likely paths, and it's more of a probabilistic kind of a approach. So a linear thinker always thinks about immediate gain. Goal-oriented, it's a fight or a flight. It's a direct approach and it's information-based. Whereas a person who's a lateral thinker is more holistic. It looks at a benefit over time, is more relationship-oriented. They tend and to be befriend. They are indirect and they value connections. So creative thinking is if you have ideas, let's create something new. You have a lot of problems on one side, you're thinking, you're getting your ideas, You're working towards your solution. You're looking at the best idea, and then you're getting into your vision. What is it that you started for? And probably you might create something new. So creative thinking has 5 steps, which is preparation, incubation, illumination, evaluation, and implementation. So those are your 5 steps. Let's get to know a little more about this. Creative thinking that deliberately attempts to re-examine basic assumption and change perspective or direction to provide a fresh approach to solving a problem. And this term is often used synonymously with divergent thinking as defined by the British psychologist. Now, whenever I, wait for my laptop to go on in the, searching mode, and then I used to think, how will it be if my brain is also loading this way? How about getting a different version of my brain? How about getting an upscale to my brain? How about improving my human computer to the next level? Now, that is what is lateral thinking. Are you going to use the old software, or you want to create a new software every single year so that your brain, that neuroplasticity of yours, helps you go to the next level in life? What are the top creative thinking skills? You can be analytical, open-minded, obviously, problem solver. You're organizational, which means you're looking at goals, you're looking at deadlines, and your communication is very strong, whether it's written or oral, and you have a very good ability to listen to people, and you are asking the right kind of questions. And I'm sure you must have known well-known inventors of all times. I was talking to you about Thomas Alva Edison when I spoke to you about the light bulb. There are so many of them. What is so great about all of them? They were not those people who just looked straight. They were trying to figure out a way where things could be better. And if you look at all these inventions, and I'm sure you will be thanking them, because of them is what you are having a kind of a better lifestyle today, right? Now, the world needs us to be creative. Books don't author themselves. Inventions don't invent themselves. Music doesn't write itself. The byproduct of creativity is every great achievement the world has ever seen. And my dear friends, each of you have that potential. It's just that they are untapped in you. They are just left like that in you. Once you start tapping them, you're going to see a better version of yourself. So lateral thinking is the ability to use your imagination. They say, adding feathers to caps. Here you have different caps by yourself. Okay, so we say that different hats which you have, and these different hats you wear is going to help you think laterally. The white hat is for facts, the red is for feelings, blue is for control, green is for creativity, yellow is for positivity, and black is for negativity. So let's look at this. The blue hat always thinks about process. It is like thinking about thinking. What thinking is needed, organizing the thinking, and planning for a thinking. Next is white hat. White hat is more of information, is neutral, objective. What do I know? What do I need to find out? How will I get the information I need? Those are the factual things the white hat is looking at. The red hat is all about your feelings. It looks at your intuitions, your hunches, your gut instinct, the feelings which you have right now, the feelings which can change, and no reasons can be given for those kind of feelings. Green is for creativity. It is for ideas. It's for alternatives. It is for possibilities, solutions to those black hat problems. Because black hat, if you look at it, it is only looking at difficulties, weaknesses, dangers, what we call the SWOT principle, the threats, spotting the risks and logical reasons which are given. They generally say whenever you do any study, you look out for the pros and cons. So that is what it is. And what are the yellow hat? It is all about the benefits, the positives, the plus points, why an idea is going to be useful, and the logical reasons are given. If somebody asked you why you should become Miss Universe or, Mr. India or whatever, you should be able to say, this is the reason I'm standing up for what I am. Now, if you are not able to give your own benefits to be the person you want to be, who do you think on earth is going to come and tell good things about you? So you should feel that great feeling about yourself. So as I talk to you about the 6 hats and the one is a royal hat. You are the owner of that hat, to be committed, to invest, and to subjectively seeking objectivity. So you are going to put yourself, after wearing all those hats, you are going to push yourself towards action where you're going to make things happen for you. Now, these 6 hats, as I told you, all of us are wearing it, but we are wearing it at different times. Now, we as a lateral thinker, we should be able to shift hats as fast as possible to get to the solution. And that is how it makes us a great thinker. Now, the summary of this Edward D. Bueno's 6 thinking hats was that, we need to have all these hats so that we can move ahead in life. And you need to have a kind of a balance so that, you're looking at the possibilities. It is not that the black hat is bad and the yellow hat is good. It is like you need to see the pros and cons. Imagine you're going on a long drive with your family. Won't you check all the 4 tires, whether they are good? Won't you check if you have enough petrol? It is not that you're thinking that you're going to have a bad tire or a flat tire on the road, but then you're trying to be prepared. So we need to be prepared as we move forward. We need to be cautious, at the same time adventurous. So what are the benefits of lateral thinking? Lateral thinking involves an indirect and creative thought process that accelerates many aspects of life. It is a manner of solving problems using an indirect and creative approach, and it helps to stimulate creativity and innovation and facilitates brainstorming. So let's see what are the brainstorming guidelines. You set a time limit for all this. It is not like you're sitting and daydreaming and saying, I'm brainstorming. No, you have to have a time frame. I will think about this issue for 5 minutes and then I leave it and then go to the next. Many a times you would have thought, see, you'll be searching for some key which is missing, and that key you would have left it somewhere. And then you have not misplaced it. You have kept it in the most secretive place, the most safest place on earth. You ask women, they will tell you. Many a times it's happened, right? And then you're searching, you're not getting. Now, if you search the entire day, is it going to help you? The answer is a no. So you search for 5-10 minutes, it's not coming your way, leave it. But don't leave it from the back of your brain. You wait, and then maybe you're doing something else and suddenly that idea comes and then you go search, you're going to have that key there. So I just gave you an example. So it could be anything like that. So you have a time limit for brainstorming. Many people take the entire life for this. Okay. All ideas are good ideas, my dear friends. So don't ever belittle yourself. Do not judge an idea when presented to a group. When somebody is presenting an idea, don't laugh over it. They might have a way of looking at things. So why not ask them, what made you think this way? How do you think it is going to be useful? And if they are having the answers for that, maybe you will get your doubts cleared out also. Do not talk during the silent brainstorming session. When it is happening within your brain, give yourself time to remain that calm, get that clarity in your brain. Many a times, we say when you're looking at boiling water, when you look at your face on the boiling water, can you see a clear face? The answer is a no. But the same boiling water, you wait for it to settle down and then you see your face, you'll be able to see your face. So that is so important. Now, what do I mean by the boiling water here? It is your agitated mind. When your mind is agitated, you will not have any clear solutions coming your way. So relax your mind, practice mindfulness. And once you practice that, once your mind is calm, it is clear, that is when you will have this brainstorming, and that is when you will have the lateral thinking. And record all these brainstorm ideas. I told you, maintain a notebook. It's very important. And take turns when presenting the ideas. See, we always understand that 10% only should be the talking part. 90% should be the listening part. And I practice that very much. You must be thinking, in a lecture, I don't do that, right? No, the lecture is because I have to speak to you. But when you look at life, I'm a very, very patient listener. I will never talk. The talking part of me is only when I'm presenting. The rest of the time, I'm a very silent person. I love to, retrospectively go within me and think. And that is when I get ideas, and that is how I'm able to put forth. Assign a monitor to keep the brainstorm focused, because you need to have that kind of a kind of a limit on either side, so that you're thinking forward. Otherwise, you will have too much of scattering of your brain ideas. You should be laser focused, and that is again very important. So what are the rules of brainstorming? Defer judgment, encourage wild ideas, build on the ideas of others, stay focused on the topic, one conversation at a time, be visual, and go for quantity. So go for more ideas so that you will have much more ways of looking at it. As Edward de Bono said, creativity and lateral thinking have exactly the same basis as humor. It does not come for everybody. Can you imagine, for even an actor, not many actors are able to do a comic role, because that part is a kind of having a funny bone, and to make people laugh is not easy. It is something, it is so much of effort which has to be put in to make people laugh. Similarly, creativity and lateral thinking have that same basis. It's a selected few who are going to have that kind of a spark in their brain. So this is what Edward de Bono said. He said, lateral thinking, however, looks at things from a sideways perspective, also known as horizontal thinking, in order to find the answers that aren't immediately apparent or very visual to be seen. These skills are often required in creative careers like marketing and advertising. I'm sure many a times when I used to go on the road, I used to look at the different kind of ideas people are putting forth. I don't know how many of you have that same kind of, thinking that I do. I'm just going to show you few things. Now, whenever I used to see an Amul ad, I would always be enamored by it. I don't know how many of you fall into that category, because their captions are so up to date. It is so latest, and they have a kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of an information. That is the figurative of speech which an advertising agency can have. Look at this. India becomes a vaccine nation. Amul shot in the arm. And another one. Better saaf than sorry. Better safe. Better saaf means, in Hindi, it means clean. And Amul always safe. So imagine they are trying to give you a kind of an understanding. And look at this beautiful ad of butt. The days of laziness. It looks like a snail for you. And look at the kind of a creativity of the photographer to get that roll of the bed on you, which means unless you roll up and move out, you're not going to, overcome your procrastination. So brighten up your ideas and let them fly high. You need to maintain that. Another beautiful saying by Edward is lateral thinking is concerned not with playing with the existing pieces, not with that what you already have, but with seeking to change those very pieces. You're going to change, you're going to evolve. It is concerned with the perception part of thinking, that this is where we organize the external world into the pieces we can then process inside. So it's very important. So let's see if we can learn lateral thinking. Many a times I used to feel, when I was a student, I used to think, see, there must be somebody who has written this book. What made them write this textbook? What were their thought process? How different am I? Why only they are able to write? Why am I not able to think that way? These were the questions which was bombarding in my brain. So when you think laterally, you actually stretch your mind to find creative ways to solve problems. That is the concept of neuroplasticity. You will also start to look at the world from a new perspective. You will always look for solution. Whether it is a challenge on one side, you will not be there to talk or brood or criticize, condemn about the challenge. You will immediately jump to another side, which is called a problem solver. You would be a solution seeker, and that is how you would change. You can take steps to alter your way of thinking, By expanding your creativity and adopting new habits, you can train your brain to think laterally. So this is how I, in fact, showed you a video of mine where I started thinking and I thought out of the box. I wrote a textbook. That textbook is the only textbook in dentistry talking about waste management. And then, the rest is history. So many things I have done that way. And that is why I was trying to showcase that video. So let's look at some creative exercises to improve your lateral thinking. Switch on your 5 senses. What are your 5 senses? Touch, hear, see, smell, and then taste. So look at that. Look at objects around you. Analyze their shape and color. Listen to the sounds in your environment. Use your senses of touch and smell. So these elements will help you start generating new ideas. So Swami Vivekananda said that, you should find 1 hour in a day to actually spend time with yourself in a very calm atmosphere. That is where brainstorming happens. That is when you're going to get a lot of ideas. So I'm sure you have your own association for advanced veterinary research. And I would be very happy if, I'm sure there'll be a handful of you in this seminar who will be those people who are going to be the go-getters of your veterinary research. And maybe you would be the persons who are going to have the top 10 highest salary jobs in India, or much more. And this is how you have to think, my dear friends. You have to think out of the box to get the best out of it. So I'm going to show you a small video. Watch it and then I'll talk about it. So you can see these roots going deep inside, right? Similarly, I have just planted a seed in your brain today. I want those roots to go deep inside you, gather as much knowledge as possible, because however deep your roots are, that is how tall your plant or your seed is going to grow. So best of luck. And I'm going to just share a small video which just tells you what I have done in the 26 years which I have been as a professional. I had an ode to all my teachers who believed in me, who made me understand that I had something in me and that potential came out. I know Dr. Shankaran was a part of this festivity. Watch the video. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation, waiting to answer your questions on the other side of this lecture. Yes.
I'll just check the chat box first.
Yes, I'm just seeing Abhijit says an inspirational roadmap. Thank you, Abhijit. Yeah. Any questions?
Good evening. I'm working with Dr. John.
Yes.
So I have heard a couple of lectures. Extremely good. The way you present, I don't know, the slides and everything were really, many of them are highly useful. I don't know. I'm too old, but I'm really envy and the students now. to have this kind of lectures at a very early age. I think thank you so much for giving this kind of lectures to our students. I have a question. I don't know if it's a question or an answer. What do you think about this lateral thinking? Is it instinctive, or you told some habits which will improve this lateral thinking? But is it because they say that creativity and lateral thinking, you say they go together. But we have been taught, or we have been reading that creativity is something like it is inbuilt, or it is something like it is somebody own it, or when somebody has it in his right from birth or something like that. But what do you think? This lateral thinking can be improved by the kind of exercise which are very quite positive, or do you think it is a kind of instinctive?
What you said is absolutely right, sir. First of all, thank you for all those kind words you had to say. It truly means a lot, because when I put forth all these kind of information for TANUVAS, I always look at what is my see, putting a presentation and presenting in front, you just need three things. You need to know English, you need to be able to learn how to do a PowerPoint, and you should speak. That's all. But I don't look at it that way. I look, if I'm taking a topic, am I authoritative in that topic? Do I have the ability in me to talk on that? Have I done it? Have I walked the talk? That is what I look at in every topic I do. So that is why I showed my video in the beginning to say I had a roadblock. I had a roadblock 20 years back. And I was looking out for ways and means to find so that I could really grow. And today I have put my tentacles across. Octopus, you think about the tentacles. I'm talking as taking an animal as an example only because you're all in the veterinary science. So are you actually putting your tentacles on all areas? Now that is what is lateral thinking. Very well asked question, because see, if I think about music, if I think about dance, there must be some internal instinct for you to dance, correct? You must be comfortable with yourself. Only then you can dance. Now, can I learn dancing even if I have no inner instinct to do? Yes. You might not get it as fast as a person who has that instinct, but you can develop on it. And that is very important. And that is why if you see parents in the initial, maybe till about say 10 years of age, they try to put their child in all kinds of activities, go for singing class, dance class, sloka class, whatever. Why? They are trying to figure out what is the kind of interest this child has inborn for them to take it further as a passion. Maybe that passion can also change into a profession. Now that depends. Now, these are things which we can't talk. Many a times, I don't want to name children here because there are many students who have contacted me personally and said, I have joined this course only for my parents' interest. I don't feel very comfortable doing the course. I used to get very good marks in my 12th. I'm not getting those marks right now because I'm not genuinely interested. Now, I can understand their feelings, but then that is exactly what I'm trying to say. Now it is a make or a break situation. You want, you can go ahead. Otherwise, give up, do something else. Why do you think so many music directors, so many, I don't want to name them, many of them who are engineers, who gave up engineering and got into singing profession? Think about it. Many musicians have done that because where passion and profession merge, they want to love what they are doing. They must be happy in what they are doing. I am happy in whatever I do. That is why I'm getting this kind of appreciation from all of you. If I was not happy from within, how will I be able to deliver what I have to deliver, right? So that lateral thinking is about you, where you can develop your skills. This is a very important skill. See, many a times I have realized in life, I always have this kind of a question. Okay, I always ask a lot of questions to myself. The first question I ask myself is, what is that they have that you don't have? What is that they are doing that you are not doing? What is that you need to learn more that they are doing and they are getting a result? I will never be upset because somebody else is moving ahead of me. I will be upset because I have not put in that efforts to claim my success. That is very important. And for that, maybe what I'm doing is not the number lock which I need. The number lock for them, they were able to decode. What is my number lock? That is what I'm looking at. Imagine that number locks in your suitcases, 000, 501, whatever. I don't know. I'm just telling you 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. What is your number lock of your life for you to make it big in your life? Keep decoding it. Move out of your comfort zone and then get it and make it happen. So that is how you can develop on it. That is the beauty of lateral thinking. Yes, Abhijit, I can see you have raised hands. I have so many other questions I'll be answering.
Thank you in the first place. So Mrs. Vidya, I have a friend who has this book. It is titled as Brain Benders or Brain Twisters, something on that line. And in his presence, we could feel that he's something different. He approaches things differently. He talks in a different way. He's a unique person, but still, his favorite thing is he always has that book, and now always in the sense, it's just like someone likes to do Sudoku, like that. He keeps this book, and he has his fun time with this book. So, show some light on these sort of books, Mrs. Vidya. Brain Benders, Brain Twisters.
Awesome. See, many a times, even in WhatsApp, why go into books? Even in WhatsApp, many a times you will get these kind of brain teasing questions, right? Try to solve them, my dear friends. It's not for who got the right answer. I'm not even getting there. Try to solve them because your brain needs a kind of a teaser every single day. In fact, I wanted to put 10 minutes of brain teasing exercises at the end of today's topic. The reason I wanted to do that is I wanted to stimulate. I did a few in the beginning. I'm sure most of you attended from the beginning. So in the beginning, I had put some brain teaser questions. The reason is we can exercise our brain and we can bring out the best in ourselves. Now, I gave you few examples like using I am a right-handed person. I use my left hand for a lot of work. I purposefully use my left hand for a lot of work. Even though my right hand is the strong dominant hand, I try to use my left hand. Now, this is how you can stimulate your brain. You should try to do these kind of things in a very, as I told you, in a very frequent manner, and keep doing it for a longer period of time. Solving Sudoku is one thing. Solving crosswords is one thing. You will increase your vocabulary. You will increase the kind of thinking. You might not know all the words in the beginning, but then, when you take out your dictionary and you start looking out for words, looking out for those kind of things, by the end of a month, you will be so well versed with the way people are thinking and posting questions to you. So if you ask me about that friend and should you keep reading things like that, that person is a natural, maybe a very natural lateral thinker. If you don't have it in you, you can develop it. If you don't want to develop it, it's up to you. For that person, there is a thin line becoming only lateral thinking, because many a times people isolate themselves also, and they lose their social skills. They lose the skills to talk to people. The entire scenario of this 8 lectures which has been planned for IDP of TANUVAS is to improve your soft skills. And in that, you should also look at yourself in a bigger picture. That is also very important. Which is better about life lessons? Is it necessary to learn skills from speakers or learning them by our experience by trying new things? Oh, wonderful question. very tough question to answer, because when you look at life, they generally say that you learn from others' mistakes so that you don't have to walk the same path which they have done. But it is nothing that you can't try new things. Usually, if you look at a 2-year-old child, they'll try to put their finger into any socket like that, right? And what will the mother say? Mother will try to pull the hand out. They'll say, no, don't touch. But then the child will listen, will not listen. Some children might listen, some won't. So when they put their hand, the shock comes. And after that, the child will never touch that. So it's a lesson learned. I'm talking in the negative sense here. But in the positive way, maybe you might be the Thomas Alva Edison. You never know about it. The whole idea is, if you are a lateral thinker, and I'm sure you know the story of Thomas Alva Edison, right? So if you are a lateral thinker, you will be able to really get the best of both worlds. These people could be a little eccentric if goes beyond a certain line. And that is why you see some children are very notorious, they are rebels and things like that. So when we go into the personality of children or personality of people, we understand them better because of these kind of rebels and these kind of things. So it is very, very, very important, when we work out on these things. Another way of looking at this kind of a lateral thinking is like, when you are looking out for a lot of solutions, especially when you are hard pressed and you think that there is no other way out. That is when the spark comes. See, whenever you look at a movie, let's take for example Shivaji the Boss, right? So in that you see exactly in the middle of the movie, in the interval time, you will see the villain tell Shivaji, that is Rajnikant, you will flip a coin, and the coin flipping, and what has the answer come, it will not be shown before the interval. But then they leave you at that point where Rajni or the protagonist is at the bottom, rock bottom of that story. So, in Hindi, there is a very famous saying which says, "Picture abhi baki hai mere dosto." So how you flip your side and how you come out of that adversity is very important. Why did we take this topic? Is many a times students are complaining about this offline to online mode, exams not being taken, what is my future, so much of darkness ahead of me, challenges ahead in life. So there is a lot of ifs and buts in front of the students. It is for all of us, more so for the students, because they're yet to start their life. Be a lateral thinker. No other student community has got this answer. I don't know how many of you are a part of today's presentation, but whoever is listening right now, or whoever is going to listen even post after it has been posted on the YouTube channel of IDP of TANUVAS, imagine you are the only people who are going to get this nugget. No other person is even going to get this. So you have got that one edge or one notch up than the others. Now it is up to you. You want to use it or waste it. If you're not using it, you're as good as not attending the lecture. But if you are using it, then you're bringing it to your advantage. And that is going to be the game changer. So it's for us to develop and make use of all the opportunities which we have. And that's the kind of a life which you need to design. You are the designer. You are the architect of your life. Now design your life. So that's what lateral thinking is all about. Okay, many a times we block youngsters from thinking as parents and even faculty. Sometimes it is because of fear of future. I think it is correct because success of lateral thinking may be less than routine one comment. I will talk on that. Undoubtedly, excellent presentation, ma'am. Thank you very much. Special thanks to the organization. Okay. So first thing is, yes, Let's look at Sachin Tendulkar. He studied only up till the 10th standard. I am sure his parents must have also told him, study hard, get settled down, right? But what was his calling, his lateral thinking? I'm sure it must have been very difficult to get up in the morning and go for the net practice, run, do all sorts of things, right? Exercise, eat right, sleep right, work out right, sun, rain, whatever he had to go exercise. He had to do what he had to do. No wonder all that hard work he put in, he got the results. That is what you need to do. Just thinking laterally is not going to help. Back it up with action. Do your best. As Henry Ford said, there is nothing right or wrong. Take a decision and prove you're right. Hitler said the same thing. Prove that whatever decision you have taken is right. So that is how lateral thinking would work. You need to understand, my dear friends, that Sachin Tendulkar worked hard to make his lateral thinking of giving up education and taking up his passion as his profession, retiring early. And how do people retire early? Let me ask that. How do people retire early? Because they have a good lifestyle and they have enough bank balance that they don't have to work anymore. What you and I would work for 50 years, they would work for 10 years and quit. How is it that you want to do? Question to you. It's not to me. So that is what is lateral thinking all about. You need to understand where you are or you have to change. And if you want more, what do I say, insights into this, contact me. My number is 98401-76088. I'm open to questions. You can keep asking. Thank you, Hariharan sir, for saying thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sendil Kumar sir, for saying excellent. Do I have any more questions? No. Thank you, Judeline. Thank you for saying amazing session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you again for wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and we will meet again on Monday, and for the
Sure,
lecture
sir.
on
Sure,
empathy. Yeah. So once again, thank you for the wonderful presentation, ma'am. Thank you very much, and you have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my dear friends. Thank you, John, sir. It's a pleasure to come back every Mondays and Thursdays right now. Our next topic is going to be empathy. And again, a very important thing, especially for you all, because you are, listening to animals who can't speak, right? So kudos to you all for being empathetic, but nevertheless, we learn a lot more about that. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.